Imagine arriving in a foreign country at just 14 years old. You are a penniless, uneducated Jewish immigrant running away from the poverty of Russia. You don't speak a single word of English. Your pockets are completely empty, and the world looks down on you. Now imagine that within a few decades, you become so incredibly powerful that you can personally buy warships, hire private armies, overthrow foreign governments, and control a multi-billion-dollar empire that changes the history of the world. This is not fiction. This is the mind-blowing, dark, and thrilling true story of Sam Zamuri, a man history remembers as the undisputed Banana King, and his empire was built on something nobody else wanted: garbage. To understand his rise, you have to understand the world in the 1890s. Back then, bananas were not the cheap, everyday fruit you see in supermarkets today. They were an exotic, expensive luxury in America. If you were eating a banana in New York City, it meant you had serious money. But the entire banana industry had a fatal flaw. Cargo ships took weeks to travel, from the tropical jungles of Central America to the ports of the United States. By the time these ships docked in cities like New Orleans, thousands of bananas had ripened too much. They became soft, sweet, and covered in brown freckles. The giant elite fruit corporations of the era had a ruthless, unyielding rule: if a banana is ripe, it cannot survive the long train journey to other states. Therefore, it is trash. Every single day, these massive companies dumped millions of perfectly good, delicious bananas straight into the ocean. They called them reject fruit and threw them away by the ton. But one cold afternoon in 1895, an 18-year-old Sam Zamuri was standing on the New Orleans docks, working for pennies when he witnessed this insane waste. Where the wealthy corporate bosses saw worthless garbage, Sam saw an absolute goldmine. He realized these bananas weren't rotten. They were actually at the absolute peak of their flavor. They didn't need to be thrown away. They just needed to be sold and eaten immediately. Sizing the biggest gamble of his young life, Sam took every single penny he had ever saved from years of brutal manual labor, exactly $150, and bought a massive load of these ripe rejects from a shipping captain who thought the boy was insane. Now, Sam faced a terrifying race against time. He had thousands of bananas that would rot and become completely worthless in less than 5 days. He couldn't wait for grocery stores to buy them, so he invented a brilliant, dangerous strategy. He rented a single open railroad boxcar, packed it to the brim with his ripe fruit, and hopped onto a moving train heading north. As the train rolled down the tracks, Sam used the telegraph stations at every stop to wire ahead to independent grocers in tiny, rural towns. Whenever the steam train pulled into a small station, crowds of ordinary, working-class people were already waiting on the platform. Sam stood at the door of the boxcar, shouting and selling the bananas directly to the public for a fraction of the standard market price. The people had never tasted anything so sweet and affordable. By the time the train reached its final stop, the boxcar was completely empty, and Sam's pockets were bursting with cash. Within 3 short years of running this frantic railroad hustle, the penniless immigrant teenager was making over $100,000 a year, a massive fortune worth millions in today's money. He became a legend across the United States, known simply as Sam the Banana Man. But Sam Zamuri was not satisfied with just selling fruit on trains. He wanted absolute control. He wanted to own the entire supply chain from the dirt to the dinner table. In 1910, he traveled deep into the dangerous, untamed jungles of Honduras and Central America. Using his massive profits, he bought up thousands of acres of land, built his own railways, and created highly disciplined, hyper-efficient banana plantations. He was building an empire, but the established corporate giants didn't like a young immigrant moving into their territory. Suddenly, disaster struck. The president of Honduras made a secret deal with American banks to impose a massive, crushing tax on every single banana exported from the country. This new tax was designed to completely wipe Sam out and bankrupt his entire business. The corporate elites expected Sam to bow down, pack his bags, and accept defeat. But they completely underestimated who they were dealing with. Sam Zamuri was a street fighter. He realized that if the government of Honduras was going to destroy his business, he would simply have to destroy the government. Working in absolute secrecy from a hidden room in a New Orleans brothel to evade government spies, Sam hatched a daring illegal plot. He secretly purchased a literal Navy warship, packed it with high-powered weapons, and hired a notorious, cold-blooded American mercenary named Lee Christmas. Along with a small, elite squad of heavily armed fighters, Sam launched a private, illegal revolution. His mercenary army invaded Honduras, fought through the jungle, successfully overthrew the president and forced him into exile. In his place, Sam installed a puppet president who was fiercely loyal to him. The very first order of business for the new government, they completely erased every single one of Sam's taxes and granted him free land for life. Sam Zemmour didn't just run a business anymore, he literally owned a country. With an entire nation in his pocket, Sam's wealth and power grew to terrifying heights. Decades later, his biggest corporate rival, the multi-billion-dollar monster known as the United Fruit Company, grew so tired of competing with him that they decided to buy him out just to get him out of the way. Sam sold his empire to them in exchange for a massive mountain of corporate stock, making him the largest individual shareholder in the world's biggest fruit company. He retired to a quiet, luxurious life as one of the richest men alive. But the story doesn't end there. During the Great Depression, the elite Harvard-educated board members of the United Fruit Company mismanaged the business so badly that the stock crashed, threatening to destroy Sam's entire fortune. Spitting with anger, the older but still ruthless Sam Zemmour walked, unannounced, straight into the ultra-luxury corporate boardroom in Boston. The wealthy, aristocratic board members looked down on Sam, viewing him as nothing more than an uneducated, rough immigrant. They mocked his accent and ignored his warnings. Sam calmly stood up, walked to the head of the table, and slammed his massive pile of stock shares directly onto the wood. He looked them dead in the eyes and famously said, "You've been messing up this business long enough. I'm taking over. Gentlemen, you are all fired." That very day, Sam made himself the absolute CEO of the United Fruit Company. He completely restructured the business, took over the global markets, and turned the corporation into one of the most powerful, influential, and feared monopolies on the face of the earth. A corporate empire so deeply embedded in controlling foreign governments that it literally inspired the historical phrase, "Banana Republic." Sam Zemmour arrived on the shores of America with absolutely nothing but a relentless drive to survive. By recognizing priceless value where the rest of the world saw nothing but garbage, he didn't just build a business, he altered the course of geopolitics, overthrew rulers, and permanently became the undisputed, legendary Banana King. If you want to see more mind-blowing history stories like this, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode.